What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And today we're going to be doing a different type of gameplay feature here on a game called It Takes Two. I've been previously playing this game along with a friend, and one thing I will say is that this game is actually really good. I really love the concepts and the gameplay aesthetics of what this game really entails. And it's quite amazing, really, because there's a lot of platforming involved, there's a lot of puzzle solving involved. And one thing I will say is that this is not my normal, typical type of game. You know, it is an action adventure platformer, but I'm so used to like playing other action adventure platformers, you know, that are like shoot 'em ups or like Assassin's Creed or Uncharted, but vice versa. This game really does a unique way of challenging you in a mindful ways. And I think that's why I think this game is really, really good so far. You know, I actually ended up staying up quite a little bit late last night, about 3 a.m. about my time here in Central America. But what I will say is that this game has a lot of involvement to its extent, because this game really tells a unique type of way of a story, to where this game really follows two protagonists, a husband and a wife, and basically trying to literally fixing their marriage because, you know, they've had troubles and hardships, and it's to be expected. You know, that's not what I meant, but I'm sorry. It's just the fact that I love the way how this game really utilizes its concepts at its core of what this game really is telling you, as not just as a story, but as a platformer, and what this game really does. And I think this game really does something that was not expecting from me, because I am a single 44-year-old guy, okay? And so what I'm trying to get to here, I'm sorry to be a little cryptic here, is that, you know, I don't know anything about marriage. I don't know anything about a really committed relationship, because I've had two past relationships. But point being is that, you know, this game is really telling of a story to where it knows what it wants to do. And I think what I'm trying to get to of that as well, that, you know, it's about the relationship between a husband and a wife. It's the committed relationship of that, and how it's really going to intertwine along with the story of the game itself. But one thing I will say here too, I think this game really does in an interesting way of what this game really utilizes. You know, like I say, you know, it's very mindful of its puzzle solving and the way how you have to solve certain things. But one thing I will say is that you have to have a thoroughly massive, or you have to have a really thorough communication skills in this game, because this game is provided on skill of communication. This game provides that so much, because you're not playing by yourself like you normally typically are when it comes to single game platforms like It Takes Two, or comparative so to other games of this type of natural medium of gaming. But overall, I think It Takes Two it's mind-blowing. I love the way how this game really does a good job of being able to go around specific areas and finding certain things in order to progress. This game has a little bit of a progression system as to where you have to like figure out certain types of puzzles in order to get to a specific area. And usually that's where most games are like this. You know, I felt like this game felt like a little bit of a Metroid type of game, even though it is an action, you know, not an action, but it is a 3D platformer with a lot of puzzle solving. But with Metroid is very much like that though too, to a certain degree, because there are areas in the Metroid comparison of It Takes Two, to where that there are areas that you have to get to, but in order to achieve that, you have to do certain types of coming up with certain types of ways to go beyond that specific type of progression level of the game itself, and that's what's really cool too. Now, I think what really makes this game for me not just as a gamer, I think this game really does something that I never really thought possible, because not the leveling, but the levels in this game are fairly unique. And I love the way how this game really does a really good job of its world building and with the levels that you will eventually go through. And as I didn't mention this before, so my apologies on this. But my friend and we are in the snow globe part, and I was getting so tired last night I had to go to bed because it's like I just couldn't play anymore. But I'm hoping to play some more sometime for the rest of this weekend. But overall, I love the levels in this game. They're so intricately well designed and so robust in its unique way with its color palette. The color palette in this game is quite interesting and intricate. I love the intricacies and the attention to detail of this game, of how it provides that. But overall, I really think that when it comes to the puzzle solving, it's a risk and reward type of system if you think about it, because you have to do certain types of acts in order to progress of each level. And like I previously mentioned, I know I intend to repeat myself, you have to have thorough communication. Because if you don't have thorough communication, this game is not for you. And that's one thing I will say. Now, I actually have two minor complaints about this game. Two in particular, really, is that it's the camera system, and it's the way how you have to, turn around with the camera, and how you're going to utilize that for not just for you as the character that you are playing, whether if you're playing as the May character or Cody character. And it has to do with how you're going to, fluctuate the camera and how it's going to move to a certain way in helping out your partner or your friend, to utilize that character as a whole. And that's one thing, is that I feel like that's a little bit of a depth perception thing, but I could be wrong on that. So the other thing is that when you're trying to jump, I would say, is that it doesn't always give you the proper. It gives you the proper, not motivation, but it gives you the proper way of where you have to jump. But like I said, it's where the depth perception is. You have to know where you're gonna go. I think that the camera system is the only thing that I forgot what the other minor complaint that I had for. But the most minor complaint for me though is the camera system. It's not great. Oh yeah, now I remember. The other complaint is, now I finally realized this until now, is that it's the way how you do co-op in this game. This game is a cooperative game. It's the screen. One thing I will say about the screen, I do not like the way how they had to implement like the side-to-side screen viewer mentality or perception or perspective. To me, it feels like it just doesn't work. I mean, it works when it wants to, but at the same time, it just doesn't work most of the time or the majority of the time, because you have to know exactly where you're going to go. And that's where I was saying with the camera and the perspective of the cooperative screen size of the game itself when you're playing this game cooperatively. But overall, I think the experience for this game is still there. What I will say is that I have died quite a bit in this game. But that's where I was saying the risk and reward is very existential. It exists so much in this game because it's the progression, as I previously mentioned, and you got to do so much of different types of progression in order to maintain that progression system and how you're going to utilize that into certain types of specific areas. And that's where I think that this game really excels at. This game excels in so many ways of what action adventure platforming puzzle solving games like It Takes Two, and that's where this game does an amazing job in that category. I have never had so much fun in the game, but it is, however, excruciatingly frustrating too. I mean, yes, I'm sure that, I haven't seen any other YouTubers play this game before, but I'm sure that a lot of people who have played this game were absolutely frustrated. And like I said, I was extremely frustrated, especially last night when I was playing it with my friend as well. We actually ended up going through the cuckoo clock mission, and we finally were able to get close to the end game of that mission, and it was so bad. It's like I said, it was the perception, it was the depth perception of that mission, of going to the end of that mission, and platforming with certain types of platforms in order to get the ending of that mission. And it was a ball. But like I said, it was absolutely mind-boggling, mind-blown experience. But finishing that mission was so rewarding, because it was the fact that you're actually able to get certain types of abilities through different types of missions in this game though too. And one thing I will say, it's like there was one mission to where I remember to where it felt like that. It felt like kind of like a Diablo type of aspect or perspective on it. It was awesome. I loved it. And I thought that was great. I love the way how you're able to utilize that. And it was the concept that really hooked and grabbed me, because I am somewhat of a Diablo fan as well. And so, but now, since we are now in the snow globe area, you have these magnets, and they were actually split into two. And so, my friend is actually Cody, and I am actually the wife. I know, it's kind of weird, but it's okay. But what I'm saying is that it's interesting enough to what these magnets were able to do in order to do a type of that progression system. That's what I was talking about with the progression system. You had do certain types of concepts, and the way how that concept is in order to progress that certain type of area. And the magnets did an amazing job on utilizing how you are able to use specific areas or specific objects that you're able to manipulate the magnetism with the magnets that you are able to provide with me or with Cody. And it was I think it had something to do with opposites attract or something like that. One is a negative and one is a positive. So it was dope. I really like that type of concept, and it's a very interesting way how to expedite that. It's so cool. And I would really love to see games like this again, because like I said, even though my friend and I have not finished it yet, but I'm having so much fun with this game. And I will say, it's no wonder why this game, I believe, got Game of the Year, or got nominated for it, but won some really important awards, because it goes to show that a game like this can really change a person's perspective on any kind of committed relationship, whether if it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a marriage thing. I really don't think it matters, but point being, I just think that this game does an amazing job on all fronts. And so what I will say is that I do highly recommend playing this game. I think that you will actually have a lot of fun. Like I said, you will get frustrated. Like I previously mentioned, when it comes to the camera system and when it comes to the split screen. And that's one thing I will say here, though, too, real quick as well. I really think that they could have implemented a full screen co-op rather than having the split screen. But I understand why they did it, because they want to have a little bit of that immersion. But overall, I still think that this game is worth experiencing. I do highly recommend playing this game. But anyways, too much further ado, any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. Be more than happy to reply back if and whenever possible. And you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and I hope everyone had a really great and fantastic Thanksgiving. You guys have a good one. Peace.